depending on where you are, deer season's just finished up or winding down, unless you're in, South Texas, a couple southern places like that, and the rut is just now starting to kick in. I'm envious of you folks. But for those of us that are on the tail end of the season, we know that deer management is 365 days out of the year. And a lot of people ask me for a task list or, what do I do? And I can't give you exact date, is it too cold, got snow on the ground, can't burn, whatever. But a timeline or continuum is something we can all talk about. And one of the things you should do right after deer season, number one on your list actually, is review your harvest data. How many bucks and does did you kill? What kind of happened in the neighborhood? Your state probably has data also. Did you meet your objectives? Usually talking about your doe harvest objectives. And did you do any good? Are the body weights from the deer you harvested this year any different than last year? Are they less? Is there a reason why? Is it a bad drought? Or your habitat continues to decline? Or did the body weights take a big jump up? And is that because the neighbor didn't harvest his cornfield, there's a huge acorn crop, or you've been diligent about improving the habitat through the years and the deer are responding? Analyzing harvest data just by itself, we killed 10 does and the average weight's 100 pounds, that doesn't mean anything. But putting that with your observations on the landscape, that's how you make really good decisions. And remember, being a good deer manager requires being an artist and a scientist combined. Pure science will drop the ball, folks. You got to be able to think along the way. And that's where the art and science of deer management comes together. Some people got on their task list the day after seasons go rip those trail cameras out of the woods. Man, my Moultrie Mobile stay out 365 days out of the year, especially with the newest solar chargers. Those things are so efficient. Doesn't take many batteries. It's very reasonable to keep them out there year round. And I want to know, did some more bonus bucks move in after deer season? Are my bucks shedding early? That could be a sign of stress. Are they holding antlers till turkey season? That typically means the habitat and the deer herd is in really good shape. Am I seeing a whole bunch of predators out there? What food sources are they using at that time of year? All this is really valuable data for the upcoming season and your long-term habitat and hunting management plan. Maybe the deer were skirting around the back of your stand. Now's a great time instead of pulling cameras to move them and check out some new areas. And store that data. That data may not apply to opening day next year, but it will certainly apply to the late season. Deer condition, when they shed, numbers of deer, all that, that's important. But that's all just a factor of the habitat quality. So this time of year is a great time while you're shed hunting or maybe hunting predators or whatever you're doing, moving stands, trimming a new trail. It's a time to take a really good look at the habitat. I'm with so many people that just get in a buggy or walk and they just see green or brown. They just drive by. What species are growing there? There's many, many apps anymore we can put on our phone and it will tell us the species really easy just by taking a picture and a lot about that plant. Is it a invasive exotic species? It'll tell you right there on your, on the app. You need to treat that maybe with the herbicide or keep it from expanding and taking over native vegetation. Learning more about your habitat is probably as important, if not more important, than learning skills as a hunter. This is especially true if you want to produce better and better deer where you hunt.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, PH Outdoors, Moultrie Mobile, Steel, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, Fourth Arrow, Soil Pro Outdoors, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Burris Optics, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
People often forget about food this time of year, and now's a critical stress period. There's two stress periods in a deer's life in a normal year. Late summer, it was dry here this last year, that was certainly a stress period on deer, and late winter. Don't just stay in the easy chair, folks, this time of year, because now's a stress period. If you're in the cattle business or you're a banker or whatever it is, you don't take your eye off the ball come tax season, you really pay attention. Well, late winter is a big stress period for deer, and it's really important you're really tied into that habitat and what's going on at that time of year. It can be tough to do during the late season, but I like to know how many fawns survived at that time of year. It's a big difference between amount of fawns in June and the amount of fawns that actually make it to, 6 months of age. They were born, late spring, early summer. So by late winter, they're 6 months old in round numbers. Don't send me those hate mails, folks. That's what we call recruitment. And myself and many scientists I work with, we don't consider a deer recruited or really part of the herd until they reach 6 months of age, because there's a lot of things that can happen. A lot of things like a little fawn as a venison sandwich along the way. So now, after the bulk of the hunting season's over, what's my recruitment look like? Man, I had a huge fawn crop. Did your habitat improve? If it didn't, you probably need to plan on a bigger doe harvest to keep that grocery amount of deer balance in check. So knowing how many fawns you got there this time of year is really important. It can be tough because those button bucks are probably as big as a lot of yearling or even 2-year-old does right now. So you got to really be careful when you're making those observations. Don't be doing some kind of funky math on a napkin there and get yourself way out of balance. Most good things in life just don't happen. Someone, maybe you, but someone was responsible for making a plan. The same is true in deer management. A lot of guys in the ag belt, they don't have to plan for food because the farmer's planting enough food. There's a window between when the crops are harvested and when they're planting spring that's pretty low pickings. And if you're in that area and you've got great food plots, you see a ton of deer. But for those of us in hardwood areas, which is the bulk of deer hunters, pine, hardwood, timbered areas, I should say, we need to plan and be doing work to improve the hunting in our area, if that's our goal. So analyze your data, have a really honest evaluation of where you want to be. We all want a giant buck behind every tree, and then we take a step down to reality. Figure out what you need to do to make that happen and get to work. Hopefully we're sharing tips and techniques every day throughout the year on our social media on these videos to help you meet those objectives. And just like deer management, we want to have a good life. That takes planning and purpose also. And I hope all of you will be purposeful this year in seeking the Creator and applying His master plan to your life. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.